Hey guys, what's going on? James here. I wanted to take a look from a couple of quotes of Jason Licht a week ago. I believe that these quotes were on April 11th. And to me, as I'm reading these quotes, it seems like Jason Licht may have tipped his hand a little bit as to what the Bucs draft plans may be, possibly even in the early rounds of this upcoming draft. So, when asked about on what the team's biggest need is, Jason Licht said, "We have a lot, and that's okay to have a lot of needs." He then talks about them being very close to the NFC Championship game. If you guys want to pause and read the entire quote, definitely please go ahead and do so. But again, talks about bringing everybody back, going to the NFC Championship game, talking about how needs are okay the next couple of years or even this year. We could be competing, all the different types of things. But the interesting part is right here. I always like the trenches, and I think we need help in both trenches. Now, it's not a secret that a lot of Bucs fans and media alike have been speculating on the idea of the Bucs drafting interior offensive line, drafting edge rusher as well, and possibly even drafting interior defensive line. It seems like Jason Licht is saying, hey, we could use help in both of the trenches there. That is the first interesting thing to me, because it's the general manager, the guy who is going to be making these decisions, saying, yes, we do need help in both trenches. And we've talked about center, we've talked about guard, and all these different types of things already. Jason Licht is confirming that, yeah, they are looking at trenches on both sides now. That's interesting. But another thing that I want to talk about here, which really is telling to me, is whenever you scroll up here, you know, there's a lot of different things about Jason Licht and his draft mentality. And look, it is what it is. Like, Jason Licht's been doing this for a long time now. And, you know, he's going to have very similar quotes year in and year out. First thing that I found really interesting is, you know, talking about the idea of qualities he looks for in an offensive lineman, especially considering moving to a different position. Learned a long time ago, it's not as easy as people think. Yes, that is very accurate. You know, some people think just move a guy inside, it'll work. The guy has to be tough, reactive athleticism, bullets are flying a lot quicker. You have people coming from you at different directions, instinctive, smart, tough. You have to be able to bend, you have to be able to anchor, and da-da-da-da-da-da, right? We've talked about the idea of certain guys being drafted, like Graham Barton, can play tackle. Would he move to guard in an NFL system? That kind of hints at that possibility as well. This, whenever you scroll up a little bit more, right here, on the signing of outside linebacker Randy Gregory. This, to me, is the most interesting quote from Jason Licht. On the signing of outside linebacker Randy Gregory, we were just looking for some depth there. However it turns out, and, you know, that could be Randy Gregory is a part of the team moving forward, not a part of the team. Maybe he ends up starting, whatever it may be. I think he even answered that he didn't have in his mindset on being a starter. He just wants to contribute. He has to earn it. Firstly, just breaking down that part of the quote, yeah, makes sense. I believe a lot of people's expectations were not that Randy Gregory was going to be a starter going forward, and he was going to be a veteran depth piece. Jason Licht confirms that's how they view him going forward as well. We wanted some depth there, but it's not going to affect how we approach the draft. This is where it gets really interesting. We could always use a higher-end pass rusher. I think every team can. It's not going to affect the way we approach it. So this is really interesting to me, because to me, this kind of tips the hand of the Bucs are going to heavily consider, and this is something that a lot of people expected, but just to get even confirmation from the GM himself, first round, second round, investing in a edge rusher seems like it's really going to be on the Bucs' mind. We could always use a higher-end pass rusher. I think every team can, of course, right? I think every GM would say that. But it's not going to affect the way we approach it. For him to say we could always use a higher-end pass rusher. Where do you get higher-end pass rushers in the NFL draft? First round, maybe second round as well. That, and, you know, at the very, you know, minimum, third round. That is basically, to me, Jason Licht confirming, yeah, we're going to take an edge rusher early. And that's good. That's what everybody expected, but to get that confirmation, along when you pair it with that quote we looked at just a second ago, talking about, yeah, we could use, you know, investment in the trenches on both sides, leads me to believe that the Bucs, I mean, yes, they're gonna take an edge rusher in the first 3 rounds. They're going to. And this just lines up with what a lot of people have been speculating the Bucs needs to be: interior offensive line, edge rusher, possibly possibly interior defensive line in that mix also. So it is nice to get that confirmation and definitely get you more interested in what the Bucs are going to be doing moving forward. So, that is very interesting. And then there is another thing I want to take a look at here on when draft day trades start to materialize. This is whenever Jason Licht was asked about this, and you have a bit of a long quote here, right? In the past, our trade ups and trade downs, we've started that process typically around now. We are too right now. So the Bucs are already discussing possibilities of trading up and trading down. You don't want to make rash decisions, at least I don't, on draft day. Emotional decisions can come back to bite you. You want to be as clear-minded. We've got a big chart that has a certain number of players. If you got 3 players remaining and you're 10 picks out, all those types of things. It's a very interesting example that Jason Licht gave there. If you've got 3 players remaining on your big board and you're 10 picks out, does that mean the Bucs are possibly going to move up in the first round? Maybe the third round? Maybe the second round? I don't know. But whenever you couple this with that high-end pass rusher thing, wanting more on both trenches, it seems like 10 picks is something that's interesting there. Depends on what players are available too. We kind of have a pretty good feel going into the draft. I'd say around pick 20. Around pick 20. So we even get more confirmation there. We'll know if we want to start attempting to move up or not. I would say right now, I like the thought of the way. I really have a lot of trust in my staff, both the coaching staff and the scouting staff, and how we've been operating. Those picks seem pretty important to me right now. So yes, Jason Licht does love draft picks. We know that, especially early draft picks. But he specifically mentioned the possibility of trading up around pick 20. Who could he possibly be wanting to trade up for? Is it Jared Verse coming out of Florida State? Is it Laiatu Latu from UCLA? That's something we've speculated about. And I even brought up this possibility of the Bucs moving from 26 into the late teens, early 20s, and what a trade like that may look like. The Bucs may have to give up an extra third rounder or a fourth rounder or even a combination of picks, right? But Jason Licht is definitely not counting that out. He even gave a specific around pick 20. So it is interesting. There's a lot of interesting quotes here that to me tip the hand as to what, the Bucs scenarios are in their mind about the possibility of trading up, about when they might trade up. So maybe you're looking at around pick 20. Maybe don't be surprised if the Bucs do trade up. It's interesting. And also what they may be targeting if they do trade up or if they stay put. It's interesting. But, let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about these quotes. I would love to hear them about everything Jason Licht said. What do you like about it? What do you not like? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.